everybody. How are you doing? Becky, Raney here, and today we are going to be making healing salve, and I'm just so excited to share with you how to do this. It's super simple. This was the very first thing that I learned to make, and it's just really fun. And so we're going to go through a lot of different stuff here to talk about how to go about doing it. You're going to want to collect some containers, and I'll go over some different containers. Here we've got, I love these purple containers. Actually, you can get them in different sizes, like a 1 ounce jar or a 2 ounce jar, or even a fun little itsy bitsy size. It's a 1/2 ounce jar. And they're really great for giving away and gifts to people. They're perfect to put in your purse. And but I get these from a company called SKS, and they're actually out of Arizona. And just really a great company to work with. They have all different colors, and I just love the purple ones. I hope you can see it. It's kind of hard with the lighting in here, but so this recipe that we're going to share with you today actually will take, it's 20 ounces. So you can do the math, how many different containers you want. I think I'll do a couple big ones at the 2 ounces. I'll try to finish up all these 1 ounce ones I have, and I'm almost out of the 1/2 ounce ones, so I will fill those up first. So it's always a good idea to try to have the jars ready to go, because this recipe, it starts to cool off very fast and gel, and it's hard to pour in the containers. So have them all kind of ready to go. And I wanted to share with you some other jars that you can get too. These are really pretty jars. I don't know if you can see these. I'll come up closer. But it's variegated in color, and it has a silver top. I mean, this is a glass one. In this recipe, you really don't need to worry about having plastic because it doesn't have any citrus oils in it. But if you do like to do a variation with some citrus oils in it, consider doing glass then. Here's also another really pretty glass container. This one's green. I don't know if you could see the color, but it's really a pretty green, dark green color, and a black lid. I particularly like these too because it has the neat little lid that lifts off on it. Now, here's another container that I've gotten over the past, and it has a clear lid on it. And I kind of don't like these for healing salve because the healing salve does have a melting point about 70 degrees. So if it starts to get warm in the summer, this could leak. And so these containers are probably better for like doing things like bath salts or something, or doing seasoning salts or something. So kind of look at how the seals are when you're looking at the containers. There's no screw part on it, right? So I really like these too. This is kind of a big container for the healing salve because the healing salve can go rancid over time. So you want to not really do too big of a container, okay? And these are really fun. They're like those little lipstick containers. I really like these. These are an excellent way to give samples to people as well. And so yeah, there's lots of different jars. Oh, another way you can actually do these too is actually go through and use these deodorant containers. This is a little itsy bitsy one. Isn't that cute? And so if you are making it a little bit extra thicker, you can use these for lots of different stuff. A lot of different kinds of recipes for the healing salve. And then I have a glass clear one. And a lot of these containers too, you can check out like aromatools.com or oillife.com. All these websites, they have some really great containers at a fairly good price. And of course, you can try to get some on Amazon too. Okay, so what we're going to do is you want to go ahead and use a double boiler. And I'm going to get, I've got to get a hot pad here. But I got this going because I knew that it was going to take a little bit of time for the beeswax to melt. So I wanted to get this going early on. What you want to do is you want to get beeswax pellets. And these beeswax pellets you can get on Amazon or in different places like at a health food store. And they're just really little granular beeswax pellets. And they melt really good, but you want to make sure that they melt all the way through, because sometimes you know how beeswax, when it melts, it turns clear, but it's still a little bit solid. Well, it will get lumpy in your healing salve if you don't melt it all the way. So try to take some extra time to be sure you melt the beeswax. Okay. And then I also particularly like to use these silicone spatulas because I don't know, I just think they're awesome. I got a couple of different sizes too. Look at the little guys here. But then you're going to take 4 tablespoons of the beeswax and put in there, and then 1 full cup of the solid coconut oil. Okay, 1 full cup of the solid coconut oil. And then you want to do 1 full cup of the olive oil. Now, olive oil, I kind of don't like using only because it tends to be a little bit greasy. You can also use avocado oil, maybe experiment with other kinds of oils like jojoba oil or other kinds of oils that you think would work really good. But this recipe is calling for the olive oil. I happen to have a lot of it, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put this back on the stove and we're going to let it continue to melt while we talk about some other things here, okay? Now, this is just a base. This is a base. And what I mean by a base is you can do lots of different things with this recipe. You can mix and match and make lots of different things with it. So if you're working on a particular protocol that happens to do with skin, broken bones, lots of different things. Breathing issues, you can actually make some with a Vicks Vapor Rub. And today we're just making the basic recipe of the healing salve that has frankincense oil, myrrh, cypress, lavender, helichrysum, and sandalwood. This recipe is incredible. Now, again, like I said, you can do different kinds of recipes, so mix and match. I know when my husband, he tried to cut his arm off once and he got really bad surgery scar, and they had to sew up his tendons and his nerves and his veins. And so we wanted to do a lot of healing salve on his arm to not only work with the scar, but to be able to have the connective tissues to be get the best chance possible. So helichrysum is it's a great essential oil for working on the muscles and working on that. Frankincense is also a wonderful oil, huge for all that. And then damaged DNA repair, which is DDR prime, is a wonderful oil. If you happen to be working on maybe skin cancer or things like that, those heavy duty type of things, we have some essential oils that are really great for that too, to be able to help support the body. Now, none of the stuff I'm supposed to say is going to cure anything, okay, you guys? So that we are working on giving your body a great chance. And when you put other medicines on there, such as pharmaceuticals, they may have issues like toxins in there that will actually cause more harm to your body. So what we're doing here is we're actually creating something that has no toxins in it. So make sure you're finding like a coconut oil that is organic, totally GMO free, and everything that you can find that's going to be the best quality that you can. And this olive oil we got at Costco, and it's a very good quality. Now, if you're not sure on the olive oil, you can put it in the refrigerator, and if it separates, then that it has a filler in it and it's a bad quality. So this is a good quality. We've done that test. And so one of the things too, as we're going through and selecting the different essential oils for your recipe, as this batch melts, we're doing pretty good here. As this batch melts, we are going to take it off the burner, and you're going to let it cool. Kind of like when you're working with Jello, for example. You know how it starts to cool around the edges, and as it starts to harden, and then it kind of happens really fast. So, but it takes a while to get to that point, and there's a magic time when you're actually going to want to drop the essential oils into the batch. Okay, you don't want to drop the oils into the batch when it's cooling off, because the oils can then flash off and they're not going to have the full potency that you want. So make sure that when you're putting this together, one of the tricks I like to do, because I'm always so impatient, is I always like to get a big bowl with some ice in it, and then I like to take the pan and put it in there and watch it cool off. It cools off pretty fast that way. And I'm not going to do that today because I forgot before I got got the video on, but it's a good way to do that. And um, and so I wanted to show you a couple tricks too. Myrrh is one of the essential oils that is actually on this recipe, and it's not as commonly used in my household, though I should. When I look at the benefits that myrrh essential oil has, it's incredible. It's good for the face, it's good for anxiety, it's good for so many different things. But it's a very thick oil. It tends to be really hard to pour out of the container, and the longer you have it, the more harder it gets. Like honey, it kind of gets really harder, right? So usually what I like to recommend is when you first get the oil from doTERRA, you want to actually, when you're using it, if you get just enough at the top, go ahead and pop the lid off and add a little fractionated coconut oil. That will help it from not getting solid. So I mean, this oil, I opened it up and it's very thick. So I was really concerned. And I also have these eyedroppers. You can purchase these too. And you want to be sure to get the right size because some of them are too tall to have next to the jar. So make sure you're getting the right size that are for these essential oil bottles. What I did is I popped off I think they call this the orificer. I'm not sure. I can't pronounce it right. Popped it off the top of the oil. You can see how sappy it is. Look at how bad it is. It's so old. So I popped it off and I'm going to go ahead. I added a little bit of fractionated coconut oil here. And then, I mean, even with that, you could still see how it's very thick. I don't know if you could see through the jar. It's very thick. And so I went ahead and added this eyedropper to it. And this will be a nice way, an easier way to actually distribute the oil when I'm ready to put it through the healing salve. So see? Very nice. Okay, so that's a nice little hack, nice little trick to work with. And so in this recipe, again, we're going to do 10 drops of frankincense, 10 drops of myrrh. We're going to do 10 drops of cypress, 10 drops of lavender, and 5 drops of helichrysum, and 5 drops of sandalwood. And sandalwood is a beautiful oil. So what I'm going to do right now is while we're waiting for this to melt together, and it's almost there, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and put the video on pause, and I'm going to clear the table off, and I'm going to cool down the batch because it will take a good 10-15 minutes, and I'll cool down that batch, and then I'll come back to you, okay? So please hold, and we'll see you in a minute. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and I wanted to share with you that I made a bucket of water and ice, and I just put the double boiler pan right in here, and look, it didn't sit there that long, and it's already starting to solidify. See how it's getting solid there? And so you want to just kind of keep stirring it a little bit so that way you don't get it all solid on you, but just kind of stir it a little bit so the whole batch will cool down just enough. And make sure you have your oils ready. Again, when Larry had cut his arm, we made a batch with some different oils in it that we were looking at addressing the pain that he was having on the arm when he cut it really bad. And so we added copaiba, which is the copaiba, however you want to pronounce it. It's a beautiful oil for pain. It has CB2 properties in it. So a lot of people really like using it for, like if you have radiation burns or something, that's a really nice oil to put in this batch for that kind of purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out of here because it's starting to really be at the critical point now, and put this in the sink so it's out of my way. And we're going to go ahead and start adding the oils. So I'm going to go ahead and get my frankincense in here. And oh, one more thing, you guys, it's kind of hard to pour in these containers. So I'm going to pour this batch out into here because it has a little funnel top on it, and I'll make it a little easier. See, look at how solid it's getting. And if it gets too solid, go ahead and just put it back on the stove, you guys. It's no problem. And usually when we have parties and people come over to our house and we do batches of these, and everybody takes home one of the jars. And it's really funny. We're all taking the pan and getting all the salve on our arms and oiling up. It's kind of fun. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do 10 drops of frankincense. Okay. And then we had 10 drops of myrrh. Here's my myrrh from the little thing. That will be easy to do. Yeah, you guys, the eyedropper is the way to go. Almost like all the containers should have eyedroppers on them. 10 drops of cypress. And you can actually do melaleuca. So if you're looking to do like toenail fungus or something like that, you can use melaleuca. And then the healing salve is wonderful. Larry loves to use that for his toes. And if you have cracked heels, anything like that, but melaleuca is a wonderful one for adding to. So I'm adding melaleuca instead of cypress because I'm out of cypress. Okay, and then lavender is the beautiful oil for having supporting your body with burns and itchy, like if you got bug bites, anything like that. And so lavender is the wonderful oil to use for that. Okay, and then we're going to do helichrysum. Oh my gosh, helichrysum is super expensive, but it's so worth it. This is the most beautiful oil. It's from a flower, actually, and it's really great for supporting muscle, bruises, skin. I mean, this is just huge. So it's a must-have in every household, but just be very careful with it. And I always like to take my arm. I don't want to waste any drops on that. So I always like to wipe it off with my arm. Smells wonderful too. And then we have the sandalwood. And there's two different kinds of sandalwood. There's a Hawaiian sandalwood, and then there's also sandalwood that's from India. And we got to go to Hawaii and plant sandalwood trees. It was just really incredible. And this is another pretty expensive oil, and it's kind of a slow one. See, it's a slow one too. Helichrysum and sandalwood are only available in 5 ml bottles. But these are really good for like if you're dealing with skin cancer. It's really wonderful oils to help support the body with that. Okay. Now you can see how quickly this is starting to gel. Can you see how fast that's getting together? So I'm going to stir it up really good. Kind of make sure that the heat, everything is kind of going together here. And I was going to add a few drops of copaiba. Now, if you decide to experiment, make sure you write it down so everybody knows what's going on with that batch. But this copaiba is my favorite essential oil, and I'm going to go ahead and add 10 drops. This copaiba is incredible for pain. You guys, CB2 properties, doesn't have the mind-altering stuff, and it's from a tree in Brazil, like I was saying earlier. It's just incredible. This is at the perfect density to start pouring because it's really starting to get thick. And so I'm going to get started before it gets too thick on me and I can't do anything. So I'm going to start with the smaller ones because, well, maybe I've got the bigger ones here. There's a big one. We'll rotate them. And it goes pretty fast. Just go ahead and just fill them up. And you don't need to fill them all the way to the top because, you want to get a little air. And sometimes you fill it too much, but there we go. I'm going to try to finish up these littler ones here. I just love these jars. They're the best. Now, I went ahead and pre-printed a bunch of labels at our print shop, and I printed a whole bunch of them, and I had them all cut down so they're ready to go. Sometimes when you print a label off your laser printer, the oils will actually make that the toner on the label rub off very easy, okay? So be sure when you're doing that, make sure you're using a printer that actually won't happen to, because it will totally just mess up your label. If you don't have any options, you could always take some shipping tape and just put over the top of the label. Sometimes that works pretty good. And here we go. See, we're down to the bottom. Look at, I have just enough jars out. And if I scrape, you can see how thick it's getting. And we're just going to finish it off here. Look at, I just in time, you guys. This is perfect. That doesn't normally happen, so I'm glad I was recording and I got everything just right. Whoop. Look at it, it's just like almost like Vaseline jelly, right? That's really probably the best description. Oh my gosh, can you believe that we used to put that stuff on our bodies, that Vaseline? It's all a petroleum product. It's incredible the things that we used to do. How did we ever get to that? Oh my gosh. Okay, so healing salve. Ta-da! Okay, and then we have, what's really cool about these jars too is these lids. When you go ahead and put the lids on, it will actually, there's a little seal on them. See, there's a little white seal in there. That actually will stick to the top of the jar. So when you open it up, it actually will have like a nice seal over the top. It's really nice. So it looks very professional. So yeah, that's how we put together the healing salve. And I hope that this helped you figure out how to do it, and you have fun doing it. Get some girlfriends over, some friends over, make it together and distribute amongst each other. And then you could share the cost and you won't have all the healing salve around, or maybe even try to sell it. Oh, I was going to show you my labels. I've got different kinds here. I've got, we did a Christmas party one time, and this one here is actually, it just says healing salve, just nice and simple. Healing salve. And here's a fun one that I made that actually looks like that. And then this is my favorite. It says healing salve on it, and I got all the ingredients and stuff on there. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining us. You take care, and let me know if you have any questions. Just chat below. Give me some good feedback if you have any more thoughts or any other videos you'd like me to do. God bless you. Take care, and all in all, here we are, you guys. This is all complete. Look at all these wonderful jars of healing salve that we've made today. And it's just really fun. These make just really fun gifts. And I know you may be saying, oh my gosh, I need to get those oils. And if you are someone who doesn't have an account yet, I have a special deal for you. I have lots of treats. If you click on the link below, it will take you to an actual web page where you can actually purchase the oils that are needed for this recipe. And as well, I will give you some beeswax, enough for a recipe, and I will give you some of these jars. And so if you like to click on that link below and check it out, see if there's anything there of interest to you. I hope you'll like it. And if you're also interested in actually getting an essential oil home essentials kit with a diffuser, I also have a special going on there for you as well. So all on oils, everybody. I would look forward to working with you. And oh, one more thing too, I'm actually going to be doing a 21-day challenge on self-care, because really doing this healing salve, making lotions, exercising, yoga, everything to do with essential oils is actually really part of self-care, and it's so important. And as we start to age and get older, things just don't work as right as much as we'd like them to. And so anyway, I hope that you will join us, and we're really excited about it, and we look forward to seeing you. So thank you for joining us again, and I hope you enjoy your healing.